Hey guys, how's it going? I am WWE Hall of Famer Lita, welcoming you to General Admission Wrestling.
Hey folks, welcome to GAW Dark, coming at you from Atlanta. As always, it is episode 30 of Dark, which is just crazy to think about. In this season, we have had over 100 episodes between Storm, Storm Chaser / Stormbreaker, now Evolution, and Dark. It has really been an incredible journey, and Nitro is less than 3 weeks away, so that journey is coming to an end rapidly. Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. hope that they will have a place at the end of that journey. The newest team on Friday Night Storm, and they have taken it by storm. One of the most unexpected teams on Friday Night Storm. One of the most unexpected teams anywhere in the world, I think. I mean, you look at it on paper, it just doesn't make any sense why these guys would be teaming together. But that's the great thing about this sport of professional wrestling. Things don't have to make sense, and as we know very often, they don't. What does make sense is that almost every team in the world is intimidated by War Machine, as you should be. You look at the size and power of these gentlemen, it is not something that you should take lightly. This is, no disrespect to the B team, a big step up in competition for Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay. But it'll be a really, because you want to talk about the styles of ZSJ and Ospreay. You know, ZSJ, the submission master, you know, we know what he's about, the number of submission holds that he has in his arsenal, the number of ways that he can put you down. Will Ospreay, obviously one of the great athletes in the history of wrestling, the aerial assassin. He has honed his game, really broadened it out, but neither of them have even a fraction of the power and strength that War Machine possesses. I'm pretty sure that Ospreay and ZSJ combined way less than Hanson. We don't weigh in for the matches before Dark, at least officially, so I can't tell you the official weights, but I can tell you it's damn close, at least based on our last official weigh-ins. Let's just get to this match. Here we go. Ospreay starts off for Storm's newest team. It will be Rowe in for War Machine, former tag team champions, holders of the titles for over a year. That was a few years ago here in GAW. Check out our website, generaladmissionwrestling.com. You can see the full histories of all of our titles, so you can see how dominant War Machine was when they held the titles. Ospreay with a brain buster right in the War Machine corner. It's kind of amazing when you see the way that Ospreay and ZSJ, the way they approached the B team. That was their first official match as a tag team ever. The way they approached it was very much that they had their distinctive styles, and they were just going to go with it. Not a whole lot of, double team offense or anything like that, yet they just had the chemistry to know what each other was doing. Ospreay off the shoulders and a beautiful back kick to a grounded Rowe. You saw it against the B team. They just, Ospreay into the Chaos Project. Will Ospreay, this modified Dragon Sleeper, he debuted it against Zack Sabre Jr. in a submission match last year, and Rowe able to work his way out of it, but the submission starting early from ZSJ and Ospreay. Rowe looking to shut that down, gets Ospreay up into the powerbomb position, and into the corner he goes with a buckle bomb. In my opinion, they approach tag team wrestling in the correct way, given that they are both singles guys. you know, they've been in tag teams before. They know what they're doing, just not necessarily with each other. So the way they approach it is to say, look, we have our individual skill sets, so let's go with that. Let's go with what works. Ospreay into the cover here on Rowe. Rowe able to free himself. Both these guys have so much success as singles wrestlers. Both men, former Cruiserweight champions in GAW. Ospreay, a former Intercontinental champion as well. Tag in, here comes ZSJ. And we are going to get to see some double team offense here with an elbow drop on the back. And Rowe dives in, here comes Hansen. Hansen needed to be there and just truck sticks ZSJ on his way into the ring. But now Hansen alone with a very motivated British tandem of ZSJ and Ospreay. Sabre reeling from the effects of that Rowe shoulder tackle, or that Hansen shoulder tackle rather. Hansen transitions them into the powerbomb. Hansen powerbombs him to the ground. You thought ZSJ was hurting before. The back is really going to give out now, and that is going to hinder his ability to lock in a whole lot of the submissions that he likes to employ. We've seen the counter mutilation from him. We've seen the octopus stretch. All of that needs a strong back and core, and he may not have that now. Irish whip into the corner. ZSJ runs him down, and Sabre just bounces off the ropes. But Hansen, it took a lot out of him to get out of the way of that. Now ZSJ gets him up into the Falcon Arrow. Again, there's those basics of tag team wrestling that these guys have. You see that they're trying to cut the ring in half. They're trying to stay away from the opposite corner. I mean, they know what they're doing. It's not like they're necessarily new to this. It's just more of a new style, kind of similar to what we see from Eddie Hernandez and Yunsan Park, the new Evolution Tag Team Champions. Tag in, here comes Will Ospreay, and Ospreay blasts Hansen with a big-time lariat. Now we see Hernandez and Park come together on the back of their incredible singles ability. Now Hansen up to the top, going for a huge leg drop. And I mean that in more ways than one. Will Ospreay transitions. Michinoku driver from Ospreay. He hangs on, clamped right around that knee. Rowe needs to be there. He does not get there. Will Ospreay, you want to talk about singles greatness. You want to talk about a guy, a team that embraces success in the singles arena. That is exactly what you expect to see. That Ospreay and ZSJ do the damage they need to do on both men, but then they rely on singles greatness to finish off the match. Rowe, I think, was still dealing with the effects, with the lingering effects of multiple attacks on his midsection, courtesy of Ospreay and ZSJ, two men that certainly know more than a thing or two, especially in the case of ZSJ, about hurting limbs. Ospreay would know. This is a big win for ZSJ and Ospreay over former GAW Tag Team Champions. Their road may end at Nitro. We'll have to find out. Ruby Riott has just been touring all around the world. She came here to GAW and made an unsuccessful U.S. Championship challenge. I believe that was still when Shayna Baszler was holding the title. She is still champion. Now Ember Moon has her eyes on that belt. Ruby Riott has instead moved on. She has fought all over the world. She has fought in Japan. She's fought in Canada. She's fought in England. She's fought in Australia. She has been everywhere. And now here she is back in Atlanta. The fans, at least over on our Discord, really love Ruby Riott. There's no question about that. Oh, you want to talk about a free agent? Here is one. A woman with significant mixed martial arts experience. It's only Sonya Deville, another woman who has been touring all over the world, for the last year or so, but this now is her first match in GAW. I guess you could call her a young gun, Sonya Deville, but she has enjoyed going all over the world for the better part of the last 12 months. Welcome to Atlanta, Sonya, and welcome to the former home of the WCW power plant. It is great to see. This is exactly what GAW Dark is all about. No one said that you have to be contracted full-time to GAW to fight here on Dark. No one even said that you have to be contracted full-time in GAW to fight for titles. I mean, we just saw Cedric Alexander fight Brock Lesnar for the world title a couple weeks ago. Let's talk about the scouting report on Sonya Deville, because, you know, if a lot of people probably don't know a lot about her. She's actually still pretty young. She is under 30, which in a veteran-laden wrestling game makes her on the younger side. So Deville comes from a mixed martial arts background. She focuses on the strikes like so many do, but she doesn't employ the same kind of 8-point strike attack that you would see from, for example, an Aleister Black. Instead, it's more of a kickboxing kind of approach from Deville. You're going to see a lot of punches, you're going to see a lot of kicks, and you might see a couple submissions in there as well. Ruby Riott, as we know, a brawler, going for the senton, nobody home, and Deville just lays her out with that knee. So I guess forget what I was saying before. She can use the knees as well. More kickboxing, dirty boxing. That roundhouse kick almost landed, but Ruby Riott out of the way where she needed to be. Riott gets her up in a powerbomb. This is an interesting way of attacking Sonya Deville from Riott. I can't argue with it. I can't argue with going for that senton a second time. Ducks under the roundhouse kick, but she eats that right hand from Deville. It's hard to say exactly how Deville is going to approach this particular match, given the fact that, again, she is a very talented striker, but what could she do coming into GAW here? Is she going to change her style at all, knowing that the scouting report is out there? GAW is some of the smartest wrestlers in the world. They know what she brings to the table. Riott, third time is not the charm for that diving senton. She really wants that. She thinks she's got the advantage with that move. Sonya Deville thinks otherwise. And Deville has been right so far. Deville slingshots Riott against the bottom rope, attacking the throat. But Deville has not been able to land that final strike. Riott so far has been able to avoid the worst of Deville's offense. But how long can the defense keep up? Oh, Deville! Almost, I couldn't tell if that was a spear or just a vicious double leg takedown. Either way, Ruby Riott got up to her feet. She was able to play defense from her back, and now Riott into the camel clutch. Deville got her leg on the bottom rope, so Riott just keeping it in. Deville needs to break her way out of it. She does, and Deville goes in for a tie-up again, trying to leverage that dirty boxing. Riott able to get out of it again. That brawler style works for her. Deville, that backbreaker works for her. Now, Deville goes right down, transitions, triangle choke here. Riott, can she reach out and grab the bottom rope? I think that's her only chance here. Deville has that locked in deep. Riott cannot reach the rope. And Sonya Deville, she rolled into that triangle choke, and Riott just had no choice, absolutely no chance to defend herself. It was so quick transitioning to that triangle choke. I told you she mixes in a couple submissions. That triangle choke is one of the ones. I mean, that is in glowing red on the scouting report about Sonya Deville. The triangle choke is as dangerous as any submission in the world. Sonya Deville locked it in so quickly that Riott just had no chance to do anything about it. Sonya Deville, just like that, has herself her first GAW win. It's a big one. Lots of connections so far on this show back to WWE, and here is another one. Christine Buckley, trained by the great Becky Lynch, and has really picked up a lot of those mannerisms, a lot of that ability. Just trying to find her way in GAW, really slot herself in to where she belongs in the hierarchy, because at this point it's just hard to say. She has collected some big wins. She's beaten some really solid opponents, but as a whole, for Buckley, the 4-7 record, not exactly what you'd want to see from her. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, not by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe she was expecting better. You know, she's got that same confidence that her trainer has as well. Kristen Sakamoto has that confidence to her. Same as Christine Buckley. These two have a little bit of history. Buckley went up against Kristen's sister Catherine very early on in season 2, back when it was still called Storm Chaser. We're going to be able to use that as timing. Those of you who were here when Storm Chaser was Storm Chaser, we're going to start referencing that. So get ready for that. You are a part of GAW history. In fact, we're all a part of GAW history. It's being made every day. Go check out social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Follow us over there. That's, you can call it the library of GAW over there. That's where some of the great moments from this company have ended up over the last year or so. So thank you very much to our man who runs that. Our guy, Mr. Grim Reaper, in the Discord. Join that, by the way. Link is in the description. I got plugs for everything here, folks. So I apologize for that. Did I tell you about CFC? Did I tell you about our newest YouTube channel? Go subscribe to that if you haven't already. Horizon Forbidden West is coming in just a couple days. We'll have some content if I can find some time to play the damn game. What else have I not plugged? Someone let me know in the comments. I'm sure I missed something. Christine Buckley, you can see going right at Kristen's arm early on in this match. Kristen knows what they need to do. These are two women that obviously have done some film study. Kristen is one of the most talented wrestlers in GAW. I know she's been studying. That's exactly what her trainer Shibata has shown her. Beautiful German. That is textbook. I don't know if there's anyone on Evolution that has better fundamentals than Kristen Sakamoto. Christine Buckley, on the other hand, maybe the fundamentals aren't so much there, but that fight, that power, and that ability all is. Now Kristen, rear naked choke is in. I think she's got to take Buckley down, trying to wrestle her to the ground. Buckley able to stay on her feet, but can she stay in it? Buckley does. With the jawbreaker, that's exactly what she needed to do to survive the rear naked choke. And Kristen, I think she is going to be kicking herself for not being able to wrestle Buckley to the ground and get those legs locked in. Now Buckley, wild right hand, and it connects. There's a second one. Buckley, nice drop kick from Christine, and now Christine Buckley finds herself on the offensive, doing well. Buckley looking for that exploder suplex. It's been so good for her. But Kristen counters, single leg takedown, ground and pound. Buckley was able to defend it. This is a big time change to the flow of this match. Now Kristen Sakamoto swinging Christine Buckley around. I didn't even know Kristen had this in the arsenal, but she does. Kristen with about a dozen rotations on that swing. Kristen hooks the leg, and Christine Buckley survives. Sakamoto can't believe it. The fans love it as well. Christine Buckley is a fan favorite in Atlanta. Of her 11 matches so far in her young GAW career, 10 of them have come here. The fans have gotten to know Christine very well. In fact, she's been known to hang around, grab a couple beers with fans after her matches as well. Buckley suplex, transitions, rolls it over. Buckley into the buckshot. Unbelievable from Christine Buckley. Kristen taps out. I have never seen that before. Christine Buckley. She got the buckshot. She got the tap out against one of the most dangerous women on Evolution. Christine Buckley, what a performance. Congratulations to you, because you just put together a very memorable match here on Dark. Here's another look. Snap suplex, transitions, modified Mahi stroll, and locks in the buckshot. And as a result, Kristen is lying down on the calves. So Christine Buckley's calves are actually digging in to Sakamoto's throat. She's got nothing to perch herself up on. She is prone, and her arm is being cranked back. That is textbook, and I apologize. I talked about Christine not having the fundamentals. That is fundamental wrestling. Dunn hails from central England, just a hop, skip, and a jump from Wicklow, Ireland, where Christine Buckley is from. He will be hard-pressed to follow up that impressive performance by Buckley, but he will do his best. If there's anything we know about the bruiserweight, it's that he is tough, he is gritty, and he does not go down easy. That's as a singles guy or in a tag team, but unfortunately those particular qualities have not been able to help him very much against GAW competition. He has had success everywhere he's been. Rev Pro, he's been dominating recently. Had even a few matches in Impact, which he's dominated. He's been all over Europe. But in GAW, just a 4-6 record in 2 seasons as a singles competitor. Shelton Benjamin, he's hoping to get back to 500 as a singles guy. He is coming off, of course, competing in the GAW Classic on Dark Warpath. That was the last time we saw him on a Wednesday night. He picked up a win over Cody Rhodes to make sure that he did not go winless in the GAW Classic. He was able to do that, and now a 3-4 record for Benjamin. In his first season in GAW, he has been one of the most reliably difficult men to face for everyone in this company. Keith Lee had to deal with Benjamin's onslaught early in the Classic. It was arguably Lee's toughest match in that tournament. So Shelton Benjamin, and he knows he was that close to advancing the GAW Classic Finals. If he had been able to hit the pay dirt on Lee, which he tried several times, things might have gone differently for Benjamin. But you can't whine about what might have been. All you can do is deal with what you have now. And Benjamin, I can tell you this, we know Benjamin will be in action this coming Friday. He will be taking on Chris Sabin, a match that is a few weeks in the making. So Benjamin, he's going to be looking at this as an opportunity to get ready for what promises to be a very tough contest against a very motivated Sabin. Benjamin has been around a long, long time. He is a veteran. And Benjamin and Pete Dunne, very similar. Dunne caught Benjamin coming in, military press into a gutbuster. Dunne just hoping to continue the same success that he's had everywhere else, and he just hasn't been able to get in GAW. Benjamin with a super kick. If he has his way, Dunne is not going to see that success again, and he won't. Shelton Benjamin absolutely let loose with that super kick. You talk about being a veteran. Shelton Benjamin, that was savvy veteran technique right there. And Pete Dunne, well, it has to be said, it's disappointing for him. Yet another disappointing way to go out for Pete Dunne in what might be his final match of season 2. We only got a couple weeks left, and if I know anything about Pete Dunne, he will be frustrated as all get out by his results so far. But maybe it's not all bad for British Strong Style. Tyler Bate is coming up next. Much like Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, pretty much everywhere else he's been, has been fantastic. I mean, he's been touring all over Europe. You can still see the NXT background there for him. It's because he is still dominating over in NXT UK. He's over with Rev Pro. He's been to Japan, fought with Dragon Gate. Bate's done just about everything except win in GAW, much like Dunne. It's unfortunate, but both these guys just haven't seemed to figure it out, and that has been the story of everything they've done so far in the last 2 seasons. British Strong Style, Pete Dunne is a former tag team champion in GAW. Tyler Bate has had his fair share of big matches, yet British Strong Style as a team, 3-10 in the last 2 seasons. Pete Dunne, I told you, record not much better than that. Tyler Bate 0-4 as a singles competitor this season. And his prospects do not look to improve against a pissed off Drew McIntyre. Another man who also competed in the GAW Classic, and unfortunately for McIntyre was not able to defeat Keith Lee, which meant that Lee went on to win Group A, go to the GAW Classic Finals, and as we saw on Friday, win the whole thing and punch his ticket to Nitro. So McIntyre, this is his first match back since then, and he looks meaner than ever. I mean, he is ordinary on his best day, but this Drew McIntyre looks terrifyingly mean, to say the very least. What has Tyler Bate walked himself into? Can he make up for what Pete Dunne just failed to do? And that is get a singles win. The updated records now for both members of British Strong Style, I told you they're 3-10 as a tag team in the last 2 seasons. Pete Dunne now 4-7 as a singles competitor. Tyler Bate 0-4. So it has not been great for the members of British Strong Style. Let's see what Tyler Bate has. Let's see what Drew McIntyre. Oh my God! Claymore from Drew McIntyre. He knocked him out. McIntyre, he's out cold. Drew McIntyre. Good God. Drew McIntyre. Look at that. Good night, Tyler Bate. That's a Claymore and a half for you. I told you McIntyre was pissed off. He certainly looked it there. What a horrifying man to have to walk into the ring with. And Tyler Bate, I did all this talk about how Tyler Bate's just looking for his first singles win. It's not gonna happen here, unfortunately, for Mr. Bate. And British Strong Style again just continues to struggle in general admission wrestling. Drew McIntyre, though, looks like that man might be back on track. is another guy who's become pretty familiar to this Atlanta crowd, and another guy who has just made leaps and bounds over his series of matches here in Atlanta. 3-11 record, but you are talking about a guy who was as raw as can be when he came into GAW. Chandler Marcy had wrestled for less than a year, coming from the sport of football, which is entirely different in terms of athleticism, in terms of what you're asked to do, in terms of your mentality. So don't really pay attention to that record. It doesn't mean much. The point is, he has competed with some of the best in GAW. Santanico, Lars Nightfall, Angelo Diaz, the Lone Star. Marcy has faced them all down. So Marcy has put together, if we're talking strength of schedule, Chandler Marcy is probably on the level of like Midnight in that regard. That's how good he's been.
Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more.
Dagonite has spent most of Season 2 teaming, of course, with Lighter to form the Titans. The first recognized GAW Academy Tag Team Champions had their belts taken by the Wing Collectors recently, and of course, we now know what has happened to the Wing Collectors after that. Frankie Omega, Andrew Wesley in a street fight will be in the main event of Evolution this coming Monday. So certainly when they took the titles from the Titans, you would not have expected that would be the ultimate end, or that it would happen so quickly. Dagonite seems to be moving on pretty well, not that he's moving on from the team, but both he and Lighter have at least an eye on singles success. Lighter took part in a 4-way dance to crown Lancelot's #1 contender, a match that of course the Lone Star ended up winning. That featured Lighter, Jackal, and Lee Carr, in addition to the Big Texan. Now, the Lone Star headed to Nitro, or at least we all think he is. Lancelot might be thinking otherwise. Dagonite, he's got a chance at the Raw title. That's what he's going for on Monday. He will be taking on Midnight, the undefeated champion. And he will try to spoil one of the most anticipated matches of the Nitro card, Midnight versus Santanico, Battle of Undefeateds. Santanico ran through the Raw tournament as the undisputed favorite, won that, continued his undefeated record, now is headed to Nitro. Midnight looking to set records with the Raw Championship. Cutter attempt countered by Marcy. This is the exact kind of match that Dagonite is built for. They call him the Giant Killer, and it's because of his approach to dealing with men like Chandler Marcy. Marcy is big, he is strong, he is built to beat any kind of wrestler. But Dagonite's game is designed specifically to deal with men like Chandler Marcy. He deals with big men. That is what Dagonite specializes in. It's why he and Lighter make such a great team. Lighter is an overpowering force when he's dealing with smaller wrestlers. Dagonite, when he gets the big guys, when he goes up against teams like Ward, for example, faces down Vic Cassidy, that is where he's at his best. And you can see exactly why that's the case, as Dagonite laying in the strikes to a grounded Chandler Marcy. The reason why Dagonite is so good against bigger guys is Marcy with the Death Valley driver. The reason why is, oh wait a minute, Chandler Marcy, he's got him up. Marcy bomb! And Chandler Marcy, he's looking to spoil things for Dagonite. The big man kicks out. So Dagonite's game, the reason it's so good against bigger men is because he doesn't rely on his size and strength. He actually relies on his technique, and his strength becomes just an advantage to have. But Chandler Marcy, He's relying on his strength right now as he is just tossing Dagonite around. We are not used to seeing anybody do this to the big man. Dagonite needs to fight out of the corner, and what will happen here if Marcy does pull the upset? Dagonite hoping not to find out. Dagonite gets him up. Last Ride style powerbomb. Dagonite hoping that he does not have to find out what will happen if Chandler Marcy wins this match. And now the 7-footer going in for the cover on Marcy off that powerbomb. Dagonite, he will not have to figure out what happens, but he was tested. Make no mistake. Chandler Marcy, that's about as good a performance as I've seen anybody put in against Dagonite, especially considering that Marcy is, again, the kind of guy that Dagonite loves to face. Here's another look at the Marcy bomb, and just too much height from Dagonite. You can see how far his legs extend, and that Chandler Marcy cover, it just wasn't enough given Dagonite's height, given his weight. And so Dagonite survives, but it was not clean, I will tell you that right now. I'm really excited to make this announcement coming up on Evolution. We know that Dagonite will face Midnight for the Raw title. We will also see a special sit-down with Valeska Pierce and Lazara ahead of what we expect to be a Nitro match for the Academy title. For right now, though, let's get to our main event, and folks, you are not going to want to miss this. Talk about Roddy Strong, huh? One of the most talented wrestlers in the world, and a man who became very, very close to winning the Intercontinental Championship back at Winterfest. Strong battled Bandito at that time, and he came as close as anyone has to defeating Bandito. Of course, it took Moose and Chris Sabin to take down Bandito. Now, here's an exclusive for you all watching Dark. Bandito will get a shot at Moose one-on-one coming up on Storm. That is just in a couple days. Cedric Alexander also coming off an unsuccessful challenge for a championship. He fought Brock Lesnar for the world title, gave him some real issues, and in fact, I would have said that he was Brock Lesnar's toughest challenge in a world title defense if Lesnar's match last week on Dark against Derek Cole hadn't happened. But I think Cole is officially Brock Lesnar's toughest challenge again in a world championship defense. Of course, Brock Lesnar's only loss so far in GAW has come to Lancelot with the Academy title on the line. Cedric Alexander, one of the best athletes you will find in the entire world, and a man who, much like Sonya Deville, has toured all over the planet, impressing crowds from the US to Puerto Rico, to Japan, to Australia, with his incredible athleticism. Folks, this promises to be a banger. It's almost unfair that these guys only get 10 minutes. Alexander with a jumping lariat. These guys could probably go for hours. Maybe they will at some point in GAW. This is where the best wrestlers in the world are, and there's no doubt these two men are two of the best wrestlers in the world. You talk about two great athletes. Cedric Alexander, exactly what you'd expect from a traditional athlete. The springiness, the quickness, the speed. He's a 5-tool athlete, as we would call it in baseball. He is measured in, as far as I've heard, at a 44-inch vertical leap. That's not official, it's just what I've heard, and I completely believe it. Meanwhile, Roddy Strong, an incredible athlete in his own right, but it's really manifested in his cardio. I mean, this guy could probably run a marathon and not break a sweat, and that has really helped him in his GAW career, where he does have a decent amount of experience. You can see the back and forth nature of these two guys. Strong wanting to keep Alexander off his feet. Alexander not wanting to make a mistake, Because with Roderick Strong, the messiah of the backbreaker, you make one mistake, and it's pretty much in the name. Your back might be gone. Strong starts his attack on the back with a belly-to-belly suplex, and Alexander knows that he needs to get out of the ring to avoid it in the future. But here comes Roderick Strong. Alexander sends him to the ground, and Strong right back into the ring he goes. He says, no thank you. None of this. Strong right in Alexander's face, and it was a mistake. Alexander with a German suplex off the middle rope. And Alexander gets down to Roderick Strong's level on one knee. Says, son, you want to taunt in front of me like that? How about you eat a couple lariats? Alexander basically jumps from the middle of the ring. Roderick Strong's lariat duck. Alexander, you just talk about vertical leap. That's what I mean. I mean, his feet were at Roddy's face. Unbelievable stuff from Cedric Alexander. And now Alexander over the ropes he goes. And he is calling for Strong to get up. Here comes Alexander off the top rope, jumping lariat, and Roderick Strong just did a little back juke to avoid it. Who will be the first to recover from that? It is Alexander. Strong saw it coming, but he was still dazed from that combination of vicious lariats from Alexander. Now out of the corner. Alexander needs to fight it, and he does. There's another jumping lariat. That's some PTSD for Roddy Strong. I don't think he wanted any part of that. Alexander drags him into the middle of the ring, and now here comes Alexander. Once again, might be looking for that springboard lariat. Here he comes, Alexander. This time, Roddy once again had it scouted, but Alexander takes advantage, swinging neck breaker. Takes advantage of Roddy Strong, maybe thinking that he had figured it out. Now Alexander, could third time be the charm on this one? Clearly Roddy Strong knows what to expect. Alexander, though, just hoping he could take him by surprise, and he does! Springboard lariat catches Roddy in the throat. And now Alexander might be looking to finish this thing off. Alexander gets him up. He's become a fan of that twisting brain buster, but Cedric not able to complete it. Roddy gets him in, and Strong power bomb. Absolutely jams him with a high stack cover. Alexander's in trouble. Roddy Strong puts him away. You get the feeling that Roddy Strong believed in himself in this match. I think he believed that he was going to win this thing. And Strong absolutely mashes Alexander with that power bomb. Again, the messiah of the backbreaker. It's not a traditional one, but that'll kill the back. Roderick Strong, way to bounce back after 2 consecutive losses to Bandito and to Bobby Lashley. This is quite an opponent to hang your hat on for Strong as we draw ever closer to Nitro 11. Storm is coming this Friday. Brock Lesnar will be defending the World Championship. We just heard that Moose versus Bandito is official, and so much more goes down on Friday Night Storm. Less than 3 weeks to go before Nitro, folks. You do not want to miss a second. We'll see you on Friday. Subscribe. We appreciate you.